තෙරුවන් සරණයි. Actually, we all are really blessed and highly favored. Because we have an opportunity to discuss the truth of the world. We can discuss the truth because we know the truth. At least you all want to find the truth. You all want to seek for the truth. Therefore, you are really blessed and highly favored. In Veda, if you have heard about Hinduism, in Veda, there is a stanza, there is a sloka. Durlabham trayamevatat devanugraha hetukam manushyattvam mumukshatvam mahapurusha sansraya. It's a very nice stanza. According to that, you get 3 things in your life because of the blessings of God. Here actually, perhaps you believe in God, perhaps you believe in karma. Whatever it is, you are highly favored. Devanugraha hetukam. That means you are highly favored. God gave you this chance. There are 3 things, the rarest things in the world. First one is manushyattvam. You are a human being. You are a human being, ladies and gentlemen. Therefore, you are the luckiest. You can think, but animals can't. You can think about your life, you can reflect about your life, but animals can't. Animals can only suffer. But you can understand suffering because you are a human being. You can think. Therefore, you are highly favored. You are blessed. And the other thing is mumukshatvam. That means you became a human being and now you want to achieve your salvation. That is one of the rarest things in the world. Whoever wants to achieve their salvation is the rarest. Because everyone wants to eat, drink, sleep, and having sex. They do all these things like animals. Everyone can do that. You don't need a big brain to do all these things. And you don't need a good teacher for these things. If you meet a monkey, it will teach you. You don't have to learn. You just need to live with them. Then you will learn. And you will know how to do it. But to achieve your salvation, that is really difficult. But you have decided to achieve your salvation, ladies and gentlemen. Therefore, you are highly favored. And you are blessed. I'm telling you. And the third one, the third rarest thing in the world. You meet a teacher or teachers who have understood the Dhamma, who have realized the world. That's the third rarest thing in the world. If you got all these 3, you are really blessed. If you have decided to achieve your salvation, you are really blessed. You can do this, and we are here to help you. We all can do this. We all can do this. We all can be noble friends to each other, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be a noble friend to you, and you will be one of them to me. This is how this works. This is how this works. We all are noble friends. Perhaps you can consider me as your teacher, but I'm one of your noble friends. I can't just say that I am the noble friend. I'm one of your noble friends. You are one of mine. Therefore, we need to work together. We need to discuss. When I preach to you, actually I learn a lot. When you listen, you will learn a lot. That's how it works. That's why we can become noble friends to each other. That's what we need to do. Therefore, when we discuss the Dhamma, let's discuss it with open mind. That's what I want from you. Don't ever think that I'm here to insult you. But I know that when I discuss Dhamma, when I start this sermon, and sometimes my speaking pattern is little bit forceful. I don't know. But the thing is, if you are drowning, I can't just say lullabies, ladies and gentlemen. You are drowning, and hi, are you drowning? Baby, come to mama, come to mama. I can't say these things. I had to say that, come on, quickly. Isn't that the truth? Then how can I sing lullabies with you? Therefore, I will speak to you. But my sole purpose is to heal your heart. If you are suffering, please come to us. That's it. If you are not suffering, then you don't have to come to us. You don't need to come to us. Because you are not suffering, you are happy. Perhaps you are the happiest person in the world, then you don't have to. You don't need to come to us, ladies and gentlemen. But if you are suffering, at least if you can understand that you don't know what's going on with you, then come to us. Then we will show you. That's what happened to us before. Actually, what we are talking about is what happened to us in our life. What happened to us, what has happened so far. Luckily, we got the Dhamma of the Buddha, which means the doctrine of the Buddha. Therefore, we changed our life. Actually, our life has been changed. That's why we want to preach to you. That's the reason. Then we will talk about this. We will talk about the truth, whether it's bitter or whatever it is. Perhaps it is the sweetest thing once you have understood this. That's what happened to me. Initially, when I listened to the Dhamma, it was like someone is poking me with a sharp knife. Because I have done many mistakes. If I'm a murderer, if someone comes to me and talk about how bad the karma I have done, it was hurting, you know that. But someone should heal me. That's the whole purpose of a religion. Why do we associate a religious master, a teacher? We should allow him to heal us. Perhaps it will be painful, but it will heal us. If you can be patient until we heal you, we will definitely heal you, ladies and gentlemen. Your wound can be healed. Therefore, let's discuss how blessed we are, because we have everything what we need to achieve our salvation. We have the Dhamma, we have the doctrine of the Buddha, pure doctrine. It's not distorted, ladies and gentlemen. We have the pure Dhamma. How do we know that? Because we have practiced it. We have experienced that. With our experience, we can tell that this Dhamma is the pure, the most pure, purest. If you can understand this, definitely you will win. Therefore, let's talk about that. Then your intention must be to achieve your salvation. This must be the sole intention of you. When you come to the monastery, you should have that idea in your mind. I go to the monastery because I should know the truth. I should know about myself. I should know about nature. I should know about the universe. If I don't know anything about these things, then I will suffer. If I don't know the law, then I will suffer. You all know that. When you go to England, then you should know the law. You can't just say that, I don't know the law, that's why I did this and that. You can't just say that, ladies and gentlemen. You will have to face the music. Anyway, you can't talk about your ignorance. Life also is the same. You can't just talk about your ignorance. Therefore, we should learn about the life. We should learn about your life, and we should learn about everything that needs us. That's the problem, but we know everything. Just to eat something, to feed us, just to survive. That's what we have learned. We didn't have a chance to learn about ourselves. Just think about that. In your school time, in which class you learnt about yourself? In which class you learnt about nature? Nature, it doesn't, when we say nature, that's not wild animals and trees and plants, ladies and gentlemen. Nature is everything. Then the very first thing you must learn is nature is everything. Therefore, you should be able to see these things. When you see this, you should be able to see this as nature. When you see this, you should be able to see this as nature. If you can see these things as nature, then you know nature. Otherwise, you only know about wild elephants and jungles. You have a dog in your home, but it is not nature. Then there is a wild dog in the jungle. It is nature. That's how you believe. But everything is nature. One day we will learn that. One day we will learn that once we learn this, actually we will become nature. That's what we need to do. You have to become nature. Then you don't have to work against nature, ladies and gentlemen. But right now, you have to work against nature. That's why you try to change nature. Because you think that you are separate from nature. But it is not. You are nature. But how long will it take for you to understand this? You are nature. When you understand that, you don't have to change anything. You don't have to work hard, ladies and gentlemen. But right now, you have to work hard. You work hard. Day in and day out, you work hard because you want to change things. Because you don't believe that you are nature. Therefore, you try to change everything. You can't be satisfied with anything you have. You see things. You can't be satisfied with these things. You hear things, but you can't be satisfied with those things because you are separate from nature. What you see is nature. What you hear is nature, but you are different to nature. Therefore, now you are going to manipulate nature. That's what you are going to do. Therefore, you have to use your life, which means your time, but time is an illusion. Therefore, actually we are talking about your life. Then you have to use your life to change the world. Day in and day out, that's what you do. You try to change the world, you try to change nature. And one day, you hope that you will be happy. But I never found anyone who achieved happiness in his life by changing nature according to his wantings. But everyone wants to do that. I will show you how and why. But I want you to do one thing. Whatever I speak to you right now, I want you to contemplate. Don't take these things to your home and contemplate. You don't have to take these things home and contemplate. Right now, you need to contemplate in front of me. That means, whatever we discuss here, you just put into your life and reflect it. Then you will realize, today, right now. That's how it works. Otherwise, you can jot down few things and you go home and you do your Working out, no, it doesn't work like that. Right now, I want you to start meditating. When I ask you to start meditating, what do you do first? You take your arms like this and close your eyes. No, that is not meditation. That's a kind of meditation. But meditation means actually understand something thoroughly. That's called meditation. You have to do your own meditation. When you do maths, you go home and you should do your meditation. That means you should understand it thoroughly. That means you should practice it. If you practice, that's called meditation. The Buddha said, practicing is meditation. Therefore, he said, bhavita bahulikata. The Dhamma you have learnt and understood, you should use it. You should use it over and over again. Then you will realize the truth. That's what you need to do, with or without opening your eyes. You can do anything. You can walk and do this. You can sit and do this. Whatever you do, it doesn't matter. It's enchantment. You just need to practice. Therefore, now you are sitting. Then what you have to do is just listen to this and apply into your life and start meditating. Now if we talk about your life, that is the hardest part for me actually, because if I start to talk about your life, it hurts. Because we all know that we have done so many unnecessary things, but we became heroes and we can say that we are very successful, we have achieved this and that, but we are going to die empty-handed. Now I'm going to clean your wound. Is that okay? Are you ready for that? I'm going to clean your wound. Perhaps you don't accept that. I'm really sorry for that, but I'm going to do that because I love you. You are going to die. Let me clean your wound first. After that, I will tell that, oh, you are good people. And I will put some medicine into that. But before that, let's clean the wound. Now just think about your life. You have done many things in your life. Many things. You can't stop. You couldn't stop. And still you can't stop. And you continuously do that. You do many things. But why? Why did you do all these things? We will find the answer for this. Because you know that you have done many things, but you don't have any of them with you now. You have done many things. You have seen many pictures, many photos. You have watched many movies, but you don't have anything with you. Do you have anything with you? No, nothing. You have a memory. That's it. You have a memory, ladies and gentlemen. Then if you can live with your memory, then why do you use others? People or objects, why do you still see things? Why do you still watch? But you know that this memory is not enough. You have something in your memory, but all the time you want to do something. Do means actually you want to see, or because you have 6 senses, you have to use all these senses to live. Therefore, if someone asks me to define your life, I would say that use 6 senses. That's it. Apart from that, if you have done anything, just let me know. You just use 6 senses. That's it. You saw something or you watched something. That's it. Once you watch, after that, nothing. You still need to see something or watch something. That's it. As an example, look at this. You saw it. Show me that. What you have seen. You saw this. Everyone, you saw this. Okay, now show me what you have seen. Because if you have that, or within you, if you have it with you, actually, I don't have to buy many of these things. Because I just need to show you. Then we have here like nearly 200 people. Then we have 200 of these things. But you know that. You don't have anything right now. Even when you listen to the Dhamma, you go home. with empty hand. That's how it is. Because this is the mind we are talking about. When you see, actually we use the mind. When you hear, we use the mind. The sound is, whatever the sound you listen, actually that sound is created in your mind. The picture, which means colors, are created in your mind. Therefore, it is created. It is created, and after that, you don't have it anymore. This is how it works. Then finally, what you have to do is keep seeing, keep watching, keep listening to satisfy yourself. Just try to reflect. Try to reflect about your yesterday. You have spent 24 hours. During those hours, what you have done? What you have left? What is left with you? Just tell me. Because you spend one day, which means 24 hours. That's it. Nothing. And today morning, then you woke up and you start your journey again. Until now, what you have done is nothing. If you have done something, just tell me. Nothing. You can say that, oh, I walk. I read a book. What I am asking is, what do you have with you right now? Show me you're walking. You have done something. I know you have feet, you have legs. I'm not asking about that. What you have, so you have done something. You said that I walked. Okay, just show me. Show me your action. You can't show your action because action is anicca, ladies and gentlemen. Anicca means when causes come together, if an effect is created, that is an effect. Effect manifests only with causes. When causes come together, an effect manifests. That's it. When you walk, that's an action. Action is created because of causes. When causes are there, an action is created, which means action is also anicca. Anicca means, again, because this is the most important word you should understand. Anicca, dukkha and anatta. There are three things. Apart from that, we don't talk about any other thing. Anicca, dukkha and anatta, these are Pali terms. If you take anicca, anicca means when causes come together, an effect is created. That's the meaning of anicca. Hetum paticca sambhutam. That's what the Buddha said. Hetum paticca sambhutam. Hetu means causes, paticca means come together, and sambhutam, an effect is created. This is an effect. Due to causes, this manifests. If we remove all the causes from this doesn't manifest anymore. Therefore, this is only a manifestation. I'm not talking about mental manifestations. Perhaps you think that, oh, this is a mental manifestation, therefore we don't have anything here. No, we have something here, as well as mental manifestations occurs. Color, the color you have seen, that's a mental manifestation. The color is created in your mind. But this object also manifests. Therefore, if you remove all the causes from this will disappear. Disappear means this doesn't manifest. We will come to that later. Now, you spend your day, you spend your time, which means you spend your life just to see things or just to do something, ladies and gentlemen. Therefore, you have done actions. You act. That's what you do. You act. You walk. You sit. You stand. You talk. Those are actions. You do all these actions. But when you have done an action, finally, nothing is left. Because it's like this. When I write 12, when I wrote 1 and 2, then 12 manifests. I didn't write 12. This is only a manifestation. These are the two causes. I can use these two causes in other way. Therefore, when I write like this, now it's 21. This is also a manifestation. If I write it here and here, it is 1 and 2. If I write 2 near 1, now it is 12. 12 manifests. Just try to understand that. Look, these two causes come together and 12 manifests. This 12 is an effect. You need to understand about effects. This is an effect. This is an effect. This is an effect. I can write this. This is an effect. I just wrote only 1, 2, 3. But when I wrote 1, 2, 3, you can see 123. Which means this is a manifestation. I have these causes with me, therefore you can see this 123. That means 123 manifests because of these causes. If I remove one cause, now you can't see 123 anymore. Because we don't have enough causes to manifest 123. Everything is the same, ladies and gentlemen. Everything is the same. Your whole body works like this. Causes are there. When causes come together, your body manifests. The sound that you can hear right now is a manifestation. There are some causes. With those causes, the sound is created, which you hear right now. In that case, just tell me, when I write 1 and 2, it's 12. Just after I write, I did an action. What happened to that action? To write 1 and 2, I did an action. What happened to that action now? What happened to that action? I did it. But what happened to that action? I don't have that action with me right now. Why? It was a manifestation. Manifestation is not illusion, ladies and gentlemen. Don't ever think that it's an illusion. It's true, but it's a manifestation. Manifestation means actually it manifests because of the causes. When I did the action, I added some causes. When those causes are added, an effect was created at that time. That effect exists only with causes. Does it make sense to you? This can be a little bit harder, but we will talk about this perhaps another year, then we will understand that. Don't worry, you don't have to hurry, let's move forward. Because we are going to do the rarest thing in the world. You are going to achieve your salvation. You are going to achieve Nibbana. This is not a simple thing to do. Therefore, we will understand it. We will listen to so many sermons. Therefore, don't be disappointed if you can't understand this. We will do that. By saying that, I didn't insult you. Oh, can't you understand this? I didn't ask that. What I said is, this is not familiar to you. Because you didn't talk about anicca before. You talk about nicca. You thought that this exists. You thought that this is fixed. And this is an entity. That's how you perceive these things. You can see a man in this body. That's the perception you see. That's the perception, but it's wrong perception. It's a wrong perception, but you see that. You perceive it as a human being, as fixed something. That's how we used to be. That's how we always perceive. Therefore, when I say that this 12 is only a manifestation, then perhaps you don't take it. That's why I told you. It will take some time you to understand these things. We will practice, then you will realize this. It took me so long to understand this. That's how it is. I'm also like you. I'm not extraordinary. I'm just a normal person, perhaps not like you. You are extraordinary, perhaps. But I'm a normal person, ladies and gentlemen, very normal person. It took me a while to understand this. Then perhaps you will take. Perhaps you will understand it today, if you are so intelligent and so meritorious. Let's come back to this again. 12. 12 is a manifestation. Then, if this 12 is a manifestation, just think about this. What about the action? Then you will realize that action is also a manifestation. If action is a manifestation, can you talk about the past of that action? Can you talk about the past of that action? If it is a manifestation. Manifestation means when causes come together, again I repeat this, when causes come together, an effect is created. That's called manifestation, and that's a manifestation. That's an effect. If that is an effect, can you expect the past of that action? That's why you don't have any action in your past, ladies and gentlemen. You have that in your memory. You think that I have done. That's how you think. But you don't have it anymore, because right now a mind is created. A brand new mind is created. That's brand new, ladies and gentlemen. But you have your memory, therefore the mind can access to the memory and take data from there and create another mind, therefore you can remember things. That's why you can remember your past. Therefore you think that I have a past. But you don't have a past, ladies and gentlemen. You are a mind. You are a mind. The mind is created right now. It's very new. It's brand new. It is created right now. It is created and passes away. It arises and passes away. That's it. Arises means when causes come together, it manifests. Passes away means when causes are not there anymore, then it disappears. It disappears means it doesn't manifest anymore. It doesn't manifest anymore. That's it. To understand this, let's talk about this with, I would say, this is a process. Let's talk about a process. If something is a process, when causes are there, the process starts. When the process starts, something manifests. Due to the process. Due to the process, something manifests. After that, if we don't have those causes anymore, now the process ceased. When the process ceases, you can't see the effect anymore. Okay, let's take an example. Let's take this light. When you switch it on, light appears. Appears means actually it's a manifestation, and light manifests. Then it's a process. You know that there is a wire and there's a switch and a bulb, and it has many things, many causes. Then when you arrange everything, then a manifestation occurs. That's the light. It's a process. Then if you can switch it off, that means you cease the process. If you cease the process, you can't see it anymore. But I have a question for you. What happened to the light it has been emitting so far? This has been emitting light, I think, since morning. What happened to the light? What happened to that? Do you have in your bags? Can I check your bags? Perhaps you took them. Otherwise, where did it store? And sun, can you imagine that? Since morning, what it has done? What happened to the sun rays? Light. Sunlight. What happened to sunlight? That's the thing. All these things are manifestations, ladies and gentlemen. Therefore, when causes are there, it manifests. That's it. Then you can't see it anymore, you can't use it anymore. Your past actions can't be used. Actually, you can't even think about these things. Because you don't have them with you. Your past actions. Because that action is a manifestation. If that is a manifestation, then you can't keep it within you, or with you. You can't keep it with you. Just think about that. Whatever you have done, now you are listening. You have done many things since morning, but now you are listening to me. Then what happened to those past actions? Where did you keep it? Can you find it? When you go home, can you find some actions you have done? No. That means right now you do an action. You act. You just act. After that, again you act. Now you are listening. This is also an action. You are listening. You are seeing. You are watching. You are smelling. That's it. That's one action. When you do that action, after that, you have to do another action. But you can't think about your past. You can't find anything in your past. Some people think that we can do time traveling. That's how people think, but it's impossible. It's impossible. I will show you why. Perhaps not today. In the future, I will show you why all those things are mythological and only people think about that because they don't know the truth. If people know the truth, they don't talk about time actually, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you, we don't talk about time because it's an illusion. It's an illusion. You don't have a future. Perhaps you think that, oh yes, if we continuously listen to you, we won't have a future. I'm telling you, you won't have a future, ladies and gentlemen. You don't have a past. You didn't have a past. You don't have a past. Whatever, didn't, wouldn't, whatever. We use all these things. We use all these words, ladies and gentlemen, because we think that we are human beings and we have the past, we have the future, we have the present. Therefore, we talk about all these things. That's why we have present tense, past tense, future tense. Otherwise, actually what we can talk about is just one thing. When causes are there, effect manifest. That's it. We can't talk about our past actions because we don't have them with us. You can't talk about what you have seen because you don't have them with you. I proved it to you. Look at this. Now you don't have it with you. Just you can see that, but after that you don't have it. Now you have a new life. Therefore, you can see this. Right. Now that is done. Now you have a new life. Therefore, you can see this again. Now, you don't have anything. You are ready to see something else. If you can keep this one in your mind and use the same mind to see this. Okay? Let's do that. Try. First I'll show you this. Then you need to keep this one in your mind. After that, don't let it pass away. You just need to keep that mind and try to see this. How fast should I be to show you these two together? You can't, ladies and gentlemen, when you see this one, you can't use the same mind to see this. Therefore, I'm telling you, when you see something, that means when you have done an action, then you use another mind to do another action. That means once you have done something, you are brand new. Luckily, you have a memory, therefore you can think that, oh, I have done that, and before that, I have done that. Therefore, you can talk about your past. Otherwise, you are brand new. Right now, you just listen to me. Now, you see something. Perhaps you smell something. After that, you see it again. That's the life. That's what you have done so far. Therefore, actually, I'm sorry to say, until now, can I say this? Until now, you haven't done anything. You just experience things, that's it. You haven't done anything. Just believe me, you haven't done anything. If you have done something, just show me you didn't. Now we should find, why do we live? That doesn't mean that you should commit suicide. And you can't commit suicide, you can cut your neck, but you can't kill yourself. To kill yourself, you need to attain Nibbana. To kill yourself means, ladies and gentlemen, you need to realize. You need to realize yourself. Otherwise, no one can commit suicide. People try, but they can't. What they do is they kill their body. And finally, they'll be born again. They'll be born again, perhaps they will suffer even more. Because you have the memory with you. You try to kill yourself, but you can kill only the body. Then you will be there and you can remember what happened to you, and still you are suffering. Then you will commit suicide again. But again you have the memory with you, then you will do it over and over again, but you can't commit suicide. Don't ever try to do that, ladies and gentlemen. That is the most foolish thing in the world. If you want to commit suicide, come to me, I'll show you the path to commit suicide. That's the real one. That means you need to understand about nature, you should understand about the universe, then you will understand about you. When you understand about you, you will realize everything. Then you will see that nothing exists as yourself. Then if you realize that your existence is only a false sense, now just tell me, how do you kill yourself? One day with the Dhamma, one day you will realize that your existence is only a false sense. This is only a false sense of existence. That's it. Once you realize that it's only an illusion, then kill the illusion. Show me how to kill an illusion. Show me. Can you do that? No. That's the thing. Each time people try to kill themselves, actually what they have done is they killed the body. With the help of this body, the process of the mind occurs. But because of ignorance, the mind perceives this as an entity. That's why with your ignorant mind, when I say that, you should understand. Ignorant means not less educated or anything. Ignorant means your mind, when I say, if I say you don't want or you don't know the reality, then it hurts. But when I say your mind doesn't know the reality, you can bear it. Oh, that's for the mind. My mind is ignorant, but I. Therefore, when I do something, I always use the mind. Your mind is so ignorant. Is that okay? But you are extraordinary. Actually, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to learn how to address people without hurting them. Therefore, what I'm going to do is, you are good, but your mind is so ignorant. Right. Now, if we use the ignorant mind, then the ignorant mind perceives this as an entity. But this is not an entity. This is a body as well as a process of the mind. That's it. Apart from that, nothing is there. But your mind perceives an entity. Therefore, you can see a human being, a fixed something. Perhaps you can name it as Guru Hamduru or Swamin Wahanse, a man. You name it. You name it what you see, which means what you perceive. But what you perceive is completely wrong. It's a wrong perception, ladies and gentlemen. This doesn't have any fixed thing in it or as a whole. This is only a manifestation of atoms and a process of the mind. That's it. But you created a man. You have created a man. You gave birth to the man. You are the mother of this being. Each time when you see this, you give the birth. You give birth to this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you. You are the mother. And one day you will kill this. You are a murderer. That's why you experience death. Death is an illusion, but you experience it. When I say that death is an illusion, then perhaps you won't take it, because that's one of the most disastrous thing ever happened in your life. Death. You are afraid. Not only your death, but also your beloved one. It's unbearable, but you can win because it's an illusion. If it is real, that's fine. If it is real, you can suffer and you can't avoid. But death is not real. It's an illusion. I'll show you how. That's why I told you, this doesn't have a being, but you have created one in your mind. Can't you see a being? Just tell me the truth. Can't you see a being here? Being means something fixed. A creature, a being, whatever you say, an animal. a being. You can see, which means actually you can perceive. But if I ask, actually can you see a being? Can you see a being, or you just perceive a being? You just perceive a being, ladies and gentlemen. You can't see a being, you can see only this. You can see all these colors. Do you think the colors are beings? What being is this? You can see green color, can't you? You can see green color, right? Name the being. Green being. You perceive a being. It's only a perception, wrong perception. It's wrong, ladies and gentlemen. It's wrong. It happens due to ignorance. We are going to eradicate ignorance, then you won't see a fixed thing in it. That means you never create a being in your mind. Actually, this being is created in your mind. Here, there's a body and the process of the mind. If the process of the mind stops, then the body will rot, decomposes. That's it. Nobody is there, or nobody was there to die. But you perceive death. How? Because you saw or you perceive a being, now that being is not there anymore. Therefore, now you perceive death. Then you can't bear it, therefore you start crying. That's what you do. Then you wait 1 month, you don't do anything because you are suffering. You go for mourning. You are suffering because your beloved one died. Where was he? Where was he? Inside this body? No. It was in your mind. Your beloved one was in your mind. Now it is not there anymore. Therefore you lost him or her. Now you cry. This is unnecessary suffering, ladies and gentlemen. You are suffering unnecessarily. This is completely avoidable. You just need to understand the truth. When you understand the truth, you never suffer ever again. That's why I told you, let me clean the wound. Then you will be healed forever. You will be the happiest man ever. Happiest person ever. Just believe me. If you can avoid death, if you can win death, that can be the biggest victory. But now you know that if you die, what will happen to you? Now you always think that. Therefore you have a fear of death. Therefore you are suffering again. But if you can win, that means if you can understand the truth, and if your mind never manifests a person or a fixed thing in anything, you don't have to suffer. But the problem is your mind manifests things due to ignorance. If you can just see what you can see, that's enough. See, try to see what you can see. Don't manifest anything, or don't perceive wrong things. Just talk about what you can see. When you see something, when you see this body, you can't just say that there's a human being. You have added something. Or perhaps you said, oh, there's an innocent human being. How can you say that? Where did you see to say innocent? This, that, this. What? That's your opinion, ladies and gentlemen. You add your opinions to what you see. That wrong perception is also an opinion again. If I move, now you know that there's a being. If I don't move and perhaps I open my mouth, but I don't move and open my mouth, then you say, oh, he is dead. How do you know that? That's your opinion, again. Because you know that if someone is alive, then he should move. If I move, then I'm still alive. That's how you perceive things. Because of this wrong perception, you suffer. Therefore, let's eradicate ignorance. Then you won't see anymore. Or you won't perceive any fixed people or object. That means any entity. Then if you don't see any entity, then you never lose anyone. But right now, you have your wife, husband, children. Everything is an entity. That entity lives in your mind. Therefore, if something happens to them, then you will lose one of them. Then you will suffer forever. If something is born, it will die. To win death, what should we do? If something is born, what will happen to it? It will definitely die. Then if you want to win death, what should you do? You never let anything be born. That means, are you going to kill all pregnant women? Because you never let anything, you never let anyone to be born? No. This birth happens in your mind. Your mind is pregnant. It produces or it gives birth to entities. You know that this is plastic. Do you believe that? This is plastic. And it is made of atoms. It is made up of atoms. You all know that. This is made up of atoms. Then atoms come together and this manifests. This is how it works. You all know that. You have done chemistry. You have learned. Therefore, you all know that this is an effect. And this is not an entity. If something is an entity, actually it is called element. We need to understand about that. Actually, we need to understand about the difference between element and compound. This is a compound. Do you believe it or not? This is a compound, right? If this is a compound, can this be an entity? If this is a compound. If something is an entity, that means it's so unique, separated from other things, and unique. But this is not unique. This is made up of atoms, carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, atoms. This is plastic. And this is also made up of atoms. But when I show these two to you, then you will see two different things. But both of them are made up of plastic. Same atoms, same compound. This is a compound and this is also a compound. This is not unique. This is also not unique. But you give birth to an entity when you see this. When you see me, you give birth to a person. Therefore, one day if this dies means the process of the mind stops, then the person who you have given birth died. Then you lost one of your people, therefore you will cry. This is the greatest discovery the Buddha discovered. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, this is the greatest discovery. Because if you want to win death, you should cease the process of birth. That doesn't mean that a child, an infant come out of a womb. That's not the birth. Birth is given by the mind. That is called jati in Pali. The birth is given. When you see this, you created a being in your mind and you will lost it. Therefore, if we can eradicate ignorance, then the mind never perceive anything wrongly. This is how you win. Does that make sense to you? This is the process. If I draw this, the main problem is ignorance. This is the main problem, ignorance. Due to ignorance, attachment is created. Each time when I draw this, you should understand that I didn't draw A, I just draw this and this, but the letter A manifests. Due to these two causes, the letter A manifests. If I want to make it disappear, I just need to remove one cause. Now it has another manifestation. Now this is another manifestation. If I want you to see A, again I add one. When I add this, now A manifests. Right. That's what I told you. You should do your own meditation when we do this. Now, due to ignorance, attachment is created, attachment is formed. Because of this attachment, actually, vexation is created. Vexation. The mind is vexed. When the mind is vexed, now the mind wants to come out of vexation. When the mind wants to come out of vexation, there is a mechanism in the mind which is called abhisankara in Pali. Actually, in this case, the mind wants to achieve what it wanted. Due to ignorance, it believes something. That's called ignorance. It has a wrong view. That means it believes something. I will show you what it said. It believes something. When you believe something strongly, you really want to experience that. Do you agree with me? If you believe something strongly, let's say there is an ice cream, cup of ice cream, whatever it is, it's so delicious. If you really believe in that, it's so scrumptious, then finally what will you do? Then attachment is created. Then you will want to have it. This is how it is. When you have a view, according to that view, attachment is created. When attachment is created, vexation is created. The mind is vexed. When the mind gets attached, vexation is created at the same time. whether you have it or not. Vexation is created. Vexation means not like crying like a bear. Vexation means restlessness is created because you want something. When you want something, you feel that restlessness. Can't you remember that? That's vexation. When this mental vexation occurs, there is a safety mechanism in the mind which is called abhisankara. It starts. Safety mechanism, otherwise, why do we need this safety mechanism? If vexation is high, then the mind can be destroyed. Therefore, actually, there is a safety mechanism. That safety mechanism is activated and the mind creates a mental illusion to satisfy itself. The mind creates a mental illusion to satisfy itself. This is what you experience as yourself. Due to vexation, the mind creates a mental illusion. I'll show you now. This ignorance is the mind believes that everything is an entity in this world, whereas nothing is an entity. That's why it's called ignorance. Otherwise, it's enlightenment. Nothing is an entity. Nothing is an element in this world. If you can see one element, if you have come across at least one element in this world, just let me know. You haven't. There is no such thing called elements. But in the periodic table, we have many elements, but we all know that they all are made up of subatomic particles. Therefore, they are not elements anymore. But in chemistry, we use them as elements, and carbon is an element and oxygen is an element. When these two come together, when carbon dioxide is formed, yes. Therefore, we can say that this is a compound and these two are elements. But we all know that carbon is made up of subatomic particles. Oxygen is made up of subatomic particles. Therefore, this can't be an element. This also can't be an element. Therefore, this is also a compound, but don't use in chemistry, use in this philosophy. Therefore, this is not an element. This is a compound. This is a compound. You can't see any element in this world. Everything is a compound. But the problem is the mind strongly believes that everything is an element, which means everything is an entity. The mind strongly believes it. That's the problem, ladies and gentlemen. That's why, then I'll show you what happens after that. Here, ignorance, due to ignorance, attachment is created. Attachment means now you have a view, you think that everything is an entity, therefore the mind gets attached to the entity, what you are going to experience. Did you get that? Now the mind wants to experience that. The mind gets attached. That's called attachment. When the mind gets attached, now vexation occurs. Because you can't find any element in this world. Because nature is not an entity. Nature doesn't have any part which can be an entity. Everything is an effect. Nature is an effect. It's not an entity. Therefore, you can't avoid this vexation. The mind expects to perceive an entity, but the problem is nature doesn't have any entity. In this case, you need to understand this bit. Everything is nature. Everything is nature. Whatever you do, whatever you see, whatever you experience is nature. Then, if nature allows us to do something, we can do it. Nature means the energy we are talking about. All sort of energy, that's nature. This is nature, this is energy. According to E equals mc squared, this is energy, you know that. Condensed energy. Mass. Kinetic energy. Electrical energy. Nuclear energy. All these types of energy. These things are nature. Everything is nature. If nature allows us to do something, we can do it. Nature provides everything. But the problem is, nature can't provide one thing that it doesn't have. Nature has everything, but one thing. What is that? An entity. Because nature is not an entity. But the problem is the mind got attached to entities. Now it wants to experience entities. When the mind wants to experience entities, now it has to vex. That's the only thing it can do. Just vex. Therefore it is vexed. But the problem is, vexation increases. Therefore the mind has to do something to come out of vexation. It can't tolerate it anymore. Therefore, there is a safety mechanism called abhisankara. That abhisankara occurs, and the mind creates an entity, but that entity is a mental illusion. That's how you can see an entity here. But you know that this robe is not an entity. There are many threads and cotton, atoms, electrons, protons and neutrons. And if you take this hand, this body, entire thing, full of electrons, protons, neutrons. This is not an entity. This is a compound, a big compound. Protein, carbohydrates, lipids, calcium oxalate, calcium carbonate, so on and so forth. Everything is an effect. If you take a bone, a piece of bone, then it's an effect. Calcium carbonate. If you take a tooth, it's calcium oxalate. If you take muscles, it's protein. Then carbohydrates and lipids. All these things are compounds. Therefore, the mind can't find any entity in this body. But the problem is, the mind wants to perceive an entity. Therefore, that safety mechanism is activated, and actually the mind starts to see a mental illusion. That's the mental illusion you can see right now. That mental illusion is created due to ignorance. Now you can see. This is called the dependent origination, ladies and gentlemen. This is how you give birth to entities. You are completely against nature. That's why you suffer. You are completely against nature. Because nature doesn't have any entity. But you create entities mentally. You means ignorant mind again. You are so innocent and intelligent. But your mind is so ignorant and stupid. Is that okay to say that? Oh, your mind. You're not you. Your mind. Because your mind believes something doesn't exist in nature. That's why at the beginning I told you, we need to study about nature. When you study about nature, you will realize the main characteristics of nature. There are 3 main characteristics of nature. That's called anicca, dukkha and anatta. This is the rarest of all. The Buddha has discovered this. Because when the Buddha got enlightened, he saw with one of his wisdom. He had many types of wisdoms, ladies and gentlemen, which is called jnana. Many types. He used one of his wisdom to see the world, and he saw it. He saw the characteristic of anicca. Anicca, dukkha and anatta. This anicca, dukkha and anatta must be understood if you really want to see the reality. Now here you can see, due to ignorance, a mental illusion is created. Then if you want to cease this mental illusion, tell me. You tell me now. If you want to cease this, I can't ask if you want to eradicate this. You can't eradicate this because this is a process. If you want, you can cease the process. You can't eradicate it. If you want to cease the process, what should you do? You should eradicate this. Ignorance. Eradicate means actually you should cease the process of ignorance by enlightening your mind. That's why it's called enlightenment. You have to enlighten your mind. We can do that with the Dhamma. That's why I told you, you are blessed and highly favored. Therefore, you came to this monastery or you met noble people. You can talk the Dhamma with. Just think about that. You are blessed. Because of that, you know this. Now, if you understood this, if you can understand this, you know how to seize this. Now you have a purpose. You have an aim. That's the first thing you should do when you come to the Dhamma, which means if you really want to achieve your salvation, then you should see your salvation first. After that, we will achieve it. If we have to shoot, we need to see the target. If you don't see the target, to where you shoot? Wherever you think. You should see that. Now you see. Problem is this illusion. That's why you cry. You can see your mother when you go to her. But there is no being in mother. I don't know how to explain these things, ladies and gentlemen. When you come to me, you just perceive your mental illusion. That means the ignorant mind perceives a mental illusion. That's called Guru Haunduru. Which means the monk, whoever you identify this. Otherwise you can't find a being here. If you want, you can cut it and open it and check whether you can find or not. You can't. But you can perceive a mental illusion. Therefore you deal with that mental illusion. Now think about your wife. You got married. With complete the sentence. With your mental illusion. That's it. Because you saw her. That's it. You saw her. So means you perceived wrongly. That's it. You saw a being there. Therefore, you asked for her hand. Then she saw a being in you, or he saw a being in you. Then finally, you both are okay because both are ignorant minds. Therefore, this mind can see. See means perceive. This mind can perceive a woman, this mind can perceive a man or woman, whatever it is. Now they are ready to tie the knot. Actually, if the mind is ignorant, you can take a good wedding. You can start a relationship. Now, if you can see what happened to you, now you can't live without your friends. You always want an association. Don't you see that? Because you see people. That means you see entities. When you see something, you perceive an entity. Therefore, now you want to associate that entity. The mind, which means the ignorant mind, always look for an entity. Here you can see the reason. Therefore, now you are suffering. Because when one of your friends leave you, what happens to you? Then you suffer. If someone comes to your life, who you don't like, then you suffer because you see an entity. You see an entity, but actually what came to you is some atoms and a process of the mind. That's it. But you saw a man and you put your own opinions. Oh, he is a greedy man. He's a handsome man. And you put your own opinions and you created a man. You created a woman by saying all these things. You are really good at decorating the cake. The mind makes the cake. And after that, again, the mind starts to decorate it by putting your own opinions. First of all, a being is created. Now, she's beautiful. Many things. You can add many things, many opinions. Most of adjectives you use, those are your opinions. Have you seen an obese woman? Or man? Have you seen? You know that I can't use the word fat even because people get hurt. Therefore, I'm going to use obese, okay. If I have another word like rose obese, I put a little bit more. Okay, just tell me. Have you seen an obese man? Or you have seen an obese body? What you have seen? You have seen an obese body. You haven't seen an obese man, but what you have perceived is a person. Therefore you can say, oh, she's obese, he's obese. I like her because she's obese. Oh, I don't like her because she's obese. Many things. You are talking about her. Where was her? She was in your mind. You got your mental illusion, Now you like your mental illusion, therefore you want to marry your mental illusion, therefore you marry it and you live with your, tell me, you live with your mental illusion, therefore actually you live in, I can't say this, I turn my head to this side, at least, at least they won't blame me for this. Actually you live in a mental hospital. Just imagine that. Just imagine that. If I say that you haven't talked to your husband, you haven't talked to your husband so far, do you believe this? Your wife, your child, you haven't spoken to him. You haven't talked to him. Because you haven't seen your husband. You haven't seen your wife. Who's your wife? Who's your husband? There is no one. There is no one. But there's a body. I agree. There's a body. And there's a process of the mind. But where did you find your husband? Your husband means, actually, your husband means, what do you mean by your husband or your wife? Just the body? Is that the body? No. Then, is that the mind? No. Actually, your husband or wife or child is something fixed which is created in your mind. That is fixed. Fixed something. Body is not fixed and the mind is not fixed. But something fixed is created in your mind. That's called your husband or your wife or your child or your neighbor, your father, your mother. Then if you talk about your mother, actually you are talking about a mental illusion. That doesn't mean that you don't have a mother. You have a mother. You have a mother means there is a body and a process. But what you perceive is an entity that doesn't exist. I will keep saying this until you understand this. Don't worry, I won't get tired, and please don't be tired. Because you need to understand this part. That's it. Because we are not talking about a language, ladies and gentlemen. We are talking about nature. What is the language of nature? Nothing. I want to pass my feelings, which means my thoughts, to you. But I can't do that. You can't understand my thoughts. You only can understand my words, but not my words. I have a thought, then I convert that into English, then I use whatever the word comes to my mind. I'm not a dictionary. Therefore I use. That's why actually I study. I can just talk to you, but I'm going to express this philosophy which I have understood. Therefore I have to learn every day. Therefore I learn. Because I want you to be happy. Can you imagine that? I want you to be happy, therefore I study every day. That's one of the greatest gifts I got from my master, the Buddha, and my teachers. For money? No. I told you, I don't want even a penny from you. I want you to be happy. But to explain this philosophy, I need many words. Perhaps 10,000, another 10,000. Still you won't understand that. Because if I find a new word, if you don't know that, then you have to come with a dictionary. That's how it is. Because we both should know the same meaning. Then I said Abhisankara. Can you remember Abhisankara? Now, some of you can't understand that word because it's Pali. But some of you can understand that. When I say Abhisankara, let's assume that you can understand, especially Sinhalese people. You can understand this. Abhisankara, when I say Abhisankara, you can understand it. But can you understand the thought I got when I think about Abhisankara? No, that's my understanding, ladies and gentlemen. That's my inner thought. That's my wisdom. I'm going to pass my wisdom to you. But the problem is, the language is the barrier. Therefore, we have to use a common language. Therefore, we use English. Now, I'm going to pass my wisdom to you through this gate. But the problem is, then we should know the meaning. Actually, we should know the same meaning of the word. Perhaps you are correct. Perhaps I'm correct. I'm correct, you are wrong, then you can't get it. I'm wrong, you are correct. Again, you can't get it. We talk about manifest, the verb manifest. When we talk about manifest, accidentally, I talk about jolly fest. Do you know the meaning of jolly fest? No. Because I just forgot the word and finally it came to my mind, jolly fest. The mind, jolly fest. But still I have the meaning, ladies and gentlemen. I have the meaning, but you can't get the meaning. That's the problem. That's why we need to discuss this over and over again. Therefore, you don't have to hurry. We will understand this. We are here for you. If you are there for yourself, if you are ready to protect yourself, we are here for you. I'm talking about we, I'm not talking about I. Did I say anything about I? No, we are talking about we. We means the Buddha's disciples. And you will be one of them one day. When you understand this, whether you are a monk or not, you will be one of the disciples of the Buddha. Understanding is very important. When you understand, you will be the message. Then when someone associates you, then they will be enlightened. However, let's come back to this. Now you can see the problem. A mental illusion is created. The mind creates the mental illusion to satisfy itself. You always do that. Your mind's nature is this. This is your mind's nature, you know that. If you want something, what should you do? What do you do normally if you want something? You try to create that. If your hair is not nice, what should you do? What do you do? Not should actually. What do you do? You just make it nice. Because you have your own way. That you think that it's beautiful. Therefore, you change it. That's how your mind works. When it is vexed, it wants to create something to come out of vexation. The mind wants to come out of vexation. Perhaps you think that the mind wants to become a millionaire. Perhaps you think that the mind wants to become a well-educated person. But the mind wants to come out of vexation because it's vexed all the time due to ignorance and attachment. You can't find any mind without ignorance and attachment, ladies and gentlemen, unless you are an arahant. Therefore, the mind is ignorant. Because of that, attachment is created. Due to attachment, the mind is vexed all the time. Each time the mind is created, it is vexed. When it is vexed, the sole purpose of the mind, the sole job, the only job the mind has is coming out of the vexation. Coming out of vexation. That's why you do everything. That's why I told you, whatever you have done for nothing. You will forgive me, definitely. Because you have listened to Sinhalese sermons. Right? It is 10 times harder and ruder. More rude than this. But I want you to be happy. Now you laugh. You laugh. But I don't want you to laugh, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to be happy. What's the difference between these two? If you are happy, you don't have to laugh. But you laugh to make yourself happy. But laugh doesn't matter. Laugh, just laugh, doesn't matter. Laugh as much as you want. But I want you to be happy. Then one day you won't laugh. But you will laugh, you will smile with others, but you don't have to laugh. You don't need a stand-up comedian to be happy. You will be happy. The problem is the ignorance. Problem is this mental illusion. Due to this mental illusion, you have a fear. You know that you have a fear of losing someone. You have a fear of losing your child because you can see a child, you can perceive a child. Therefore, you have a fear. When you lose him means when you lose your mental illusion, then you will suffer again. Until that, you have a fear. Therefore, you suffer again. That's why you are restless. Not only that, but also the mind wants to see entities. Therefore, it's restless. It always wants to perceive an entity. That's why you look. Could you please stand up? Thank you. I talked to her. I'm sorry? I talked to her. Why did you look? You search for something. You look for something, search for something, ladies and gentlemen. You seek for something. Did you find it? Huh? Right. You all found it. Good. That means you got enlightened and now everything is okay. But you saw her because you wanted to see what's going on with that occasion. Then you saw, that's it. What did you get from that? Did you eradicate your all suffering? No. You are still there. But you wanted to find something. You wanted to seek for something. That's why you always seek for it. What do you want to see? What do you want to perceive, ladies and gentlemen? Just tell me, I will give you, because I know that you have been doing this for eons. Not years, many eons. You have been this for many eons. When someone comes, you looked at and, oh, she's there. Oh, he's there. You mark your register all the time. Oh yeah, she's there, he's there. You wanted to listen. You have been listening to many songs. Still you seek for something. What do you want? If you know, just tell me. I will do my level best. I will do my level best, ladies and gentlemen, to give it to you. Because I really want you to be happy. You are seeking for something. Just tell me what are you seeking for? What do you want? You smell to perceive. What do you want? You try to smell. You sniff. You seek for something. What do you want? Can I tell? What you want is to perceive an entity. Until now, so sad, ladies and gentlemen, like a small child, small baby, you want to perceive an entity. That's why the mind uses its 6 senses to seek for the entity. That's why you want to see, you want to hear, you want to smell, you want to taste, you want to touch, and you want to think. But you have done all these things. Nothing happened, but still you want to see. Please look at this. Good. What happened? Nothing. But you have seen something. That's it. Are you satisfied with that? Because you have seen it. Are you satisfied with that? No. Let me show this to others. I have my eye on you. I showed this to you. Well, why do you look again? Just tell me. Because you are not satisfied. You are not satisfied because this is not an entity. You never find an entity, ladies and gentlemen. Therefore, you never stop this process. Just imagine that. This is how, if you don't get upset with me, I would say, this is how you have spent your life. And now perhaps you are in your 80s, 70s, 60s, 40s, 30s, 20s. You can live. I can pray for you. You can live another 120 years. Or if you want, you can 120,000 years. What is the point in living all these years? You just need to suffer. That's why you should understand the Dhamma. That's why you should seek for the truth. And that's why you should be enlightened. That's the only thing, that's the purpose of your life, ladies and gentlemen. Finally, that's what I found out. The purpose of our life is to be enlightened. That's the only thing we need to do and we should do. But the problem is, if you can't understand this, you will do 1,000 things to seek for an entity. From today, you will do the same. Just after this sermon, you will do the same. But now you are listening to me. But after that, you will do the same because you have been practicing something wrong. You have been practicing that for eons. Because you thought means actually the view is so strong. Therefore, you strongly believe that everything is an entity. Therefore, the mind seeks for that. Let's enlighten the mind. Let's eradicate ignorance. Then you will never see illusion. You never perceive this illusion anymore. When you see this, you will see this as it is, but you never perceive this as an entity. You need the wisdom. You don't have to change your eyes. You don't have to wear a pair of spectacles. You don't have to do anything to your eyes, to your brain, your body. You don't have to do anything. You just need to change your mind patterns. You need to achieve wisdom. When you achieve wisdom, the mind makes decisions with wisdom. To perceive, the mind has to make a decision. The mind makes decisions with its data. If this data is wrong, then the mind has to make its decision with wrong data. Ignorance is wrong data. This is wrong data, ladies and gentlemen. That's why in Buddhism, the Buddha's word is mithya drusti or miccha ditti. Miccha ditti means wrong views, wrong wisdom. We can't say wisdom. When we come to wisdom, we can't say wrong wisdom. It's like bad good. Therefore, this is not wisdom, actually, we can say knowledge. Knowledge, wrong data. You use wrong data because you means again, not you, the mind. The mind uses wrong data to make a decision finally. Because the mind has to make a decision, because the mind has to identify this, the mind has to perceive this. To perceive that, the mind has to collect data. Then if it has wrong data, then it has to use wrong data to perceive this. That's how you perceive this one as an entity. But you know that this is not an entity, but you can't stop. You always identify this one or perceive this one as an entity, ladies and gentlemen. You can't just stop that. Because the mind is ignorant. It has wrong data. Let's clear it. Let's clear it out and put correct data. That's why you need a noble association. That's why you need to listen to the Dhamma. That's why you need to discuss the Dhamma. That's why you need to practice the Dhamma. That's why we should come together. That's why you should start your journey. This is a journey, ladies and gentlemen. Today is not the final day. This is not the destination. This is not the destination. You should have a journey. Let's start the journey. If you can come frequently, then we can discuss the Dhamma frequently. You have noble association, you can see. You have many monks, you have many anagarikas, which is nuns. We have our Sila Shravikas, Sila Vesis. You all can come and join with us. We all practice. Because this is the only thing we should do. But we have done many things, we have practiced many things, but still we are suffering. That means what we have done is not something that should be done. Actually, we have wasted our lives. I know you are someone in the society. Because you are someone in the society. Perhaps you are a teacher, you are a principal, you are a doctor, an engineer, so on and so forth. People recognize you as an engineer. Do you really believe that you are an engineer? People recognize you as an engineer because they can see that mental illusion. I know you have wisdom of engineering. I know that. You have knowledge. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about an engineer. Engineer is a person. Are you a person? But people can see a person. See means again perceive. People can perceive because with wrong data, ignorant mind always perceives a person. Therefore you became an engineer, but don't believe it. You are not an engineer. You are not a doctor. You are a mind. You are a brand new mind, which is created right now by listening to this voice. Voice means this vibration. Then voice is created in your mind. The mind is created, it is brand new. How can you say that you are an engineer? Just tell me that now you are listening to me. Are you an engineer? You are listening to me. That means a mind is created with the sound. Are you an engineer? That means everybody should be engineers. You all are engineers, ladies and gentlemen, because you all can see this. You all can hear this. But there is a person within you who can see that. There is a person within you who can see it. Only the ignorant mind. Only the ignorant mind can perceive a person within you. But if you come to the reality, no one is there. But wisdom is there, knowledge is there. Therefore, I'm not saying that you didn't get your degree. You got your degree, you got your PhD, you have everything, you have knowledge. You have knowledge means the brand new mind is created right now but you can access to your memory, which means your knowledge. You means the mind can access at any time, unless you are not mad, or unless you are not suffering with dementia. Otherwise, you can access to your memory. That means the mind is created with the memory. Memory is data, one of your data. Then the memory or the mind is created with the memory. Like the mind is created with the sound. From my throat, what comes from my throat? A vibration. This is only a vibration. If you want, you can touch this and talk. Then you can see that it's vibration. It's not a sound. But sound is created. Sound is created. With the sound, the mind is created. With the smell, the mind is created. With the color, the mind is created. This is how it works. If I draw this, Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, Vijnana, these are Pali terms. This Rupa means that is the first form. The color, if you talk about eyes, this is the color. Then color must be created first. Therefore, you can't see color here. The color doesn't exist here, ladies and gentlemen. Color is created in your mind. This has only dye. This is dye. Oh, red color is created in your mind. You can say that this is a dye, or you can say that it's a pigment. This is a pigment. This brown color is created in your mind. But this is a pigment, which is called melanin. This is melanin. It's a pigment, it's not a color. Color is created in your mind. That means the color should be created first, after that the mind, that is the process of the mind. When these 5 steps happened, then the process of the mind happens. That's how it is. This is the process of the mind. That's why I told you, the mind is a process. Then the process happens, you can perceive something. Then Rupa should be there, first of all. The form should be there. Form means, now you can say, sound should be there. Then sound should be created first. After that, you can perceive it. The mind can perceive it. This is the mind. Then, each time, with something, Rupa, which means sound, sight, with something, the mind is created. That's how you can use your knowledge. There is a memory. You have a memory. In the memory, you have knowledge. Whatever you read, if you can remember those things. If you are a doctor, you know what are the medicines you are going to give. You can check and prescribe. You use your memory. If you lose your memory, how can you do that? Then, if you lose your memory, then I also can treat your patients, because we both are the same. Because you can't remember anything, I don't know anything. When you try to remind something, remind something to yourself, what you do is you means the mind is created with the memory. Therefore, you are not an engineer, you are not a doctor. Again, I'm really sorry to say these things, ladies and gentlemen, but you need to understand what I mean. But if you just take that, you are not an engineer. I didn't say that. What I said is, you are not an engineer, you are not a doctor, you are a mind. But people can see a doctor in you, because the mind is ignorant. The ignorant mind perceives doctors, engineers, because they can perceive, which means the ignorant mind perceives entities, which means a being. Now that being can access to knowledge of medicine. Therefore, he is called a doctor. Perhaps he is an consultant, because he has many degrees. This is how, when you got your PhD, what happened? You added some knowledge into your memory. Now a person is created in other people's mind. And they know that you achieved something, therefore they call you a being first, then a doctor. This is the life. Now, actually, we gather here to understand about our life. I think this is the best lesson you get, ladies and gentlemen, even if you don't understand this. But we will understand it next week. If you can come, please come and let's discuss about this. Let's discuss about this and let's know about this. Because this is your life. If you don't know about your life, what's the point in having a life? If you don't know about yourself, if you really think that someone is living in your body, or if you really think that you exist, you mean something which is an entity exists in your mind, in your body, then you always suffer. Let's try to understand. If you can understand, then ignorance will be eradicated. That's the only thing you need to do. You don't have to work in a paddy field to attain Nibbana. I'm telling you. You just need to understand. While you are doing your work, you can understand this. But you need the noble association. Therefore, I want you to come to the monastery as much as possible. Come to the monastery and associate people who really want to achieve their salvation. Who are the luckiest in the world, ladies and gentlemen, because if someone wants to achieve his salvation, he is the luckiest, because he is the only person who will achieve a victory. Others will lose and they will die empty-handed like a loser. And again, once a loser is always a loser, then every time they will lose. If you can eradicate ignorance, you will win. You won't see this anymore. The mind never makes this anymore. Then you don't have to worry, you don't have to experience fear, you don't have to experience suffering, you don't have to experience lamentation, you don't have to experience anything but happiness. Happiness is not something ready-made, ladies and gentlemen. Happiness is created in your mind. Actually, created means happiness is a mental condition, but basic mental condition. It is inbuilt. It is inbuilt. That's the nature of the mind. But now you can't experience that. You can't experience your own mind. Actually, what I'm going to do is, we are going to help you to experience your mind. But right now, what you experience is vexation. I proved you that when I asked her to stand up, what you did was, you saw. You watched. Why? You looked at her. Why? Because you were vexed. You are seeking for something. But I'm pretty sure you will stop this. Definitely you will stop this when you eradicate this. When your mind is not vexed, you will stop this. We will help you. And let's be noble friends. You will come here, we will be there, we will discuss the Dhamma. That's what we do. When I preach to you, I learn. When I discuss with you, I learn. I learn and I meditate, because practicing. There are 5 ways to practice the path. Preaching, listening, discussing, chanting, and contemplating. The Buddha asks us to do all five things, or one of these 5 things, each time. Therefore, in our monastery, we practice the path with those 5 ways. Today, right now, I'm doing one, and actually I'm doing 2. you are doing one. Or maybe perhaps two, if you contemplate. I'm preaching to you and I can listen. I can hear that. I'm preaching and listening. You listening and contemplating. That's why this is very important. Therefore, let's meet and discuss the Dhamma. One day, you will achieve your greatest victory. The greatest victory in your sansaric journey. See you next week. May the blessings of the Noble Triple Gem be with you all. Thank you.